Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. In this video, we're going to be doing chapter 18, verse 57. And it's a beautiful verse. It's a very, very beautiful verse, and I have a lot of thoughts. I don't know how they're going to flow out and come out. Hopefully, they will in its entirety because there's just so much to say. But yes, okay, let's call out to Bhagwan Shri Krishna and let's absorb this absolutely beautiful verse into our consciousness, into our subconsciousness, into our chitta. Chitta means subconsciousness. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dear Bhagwan Shri Krishna, please, 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 please help us come closer to you. Please help us serve you. This is what the newest thing that I've learned is about service. I'm thinking so much about service nowadays. So I'm going to talk about that. But yes, please help us love you. Please help us love you in the deepest, most purest way possible. Okay, so let's sing the verse together. चेतसा सर्वकर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः बुद्धियोगमुपाश्रित्य मच्चित्तः सततं भव. There are a lot of words here that are similar to the Chatur Shloki, which is 10.8, 10.9, 10.10 and 10.11. 10.9 is Machchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. 10 is Tesham Satata Yukta Nam. Tesham Satata Yukta Nam. Okay, whatever. So the satata word comes in there. Buddhi yogam tam tadami buddhi yogam tam. Yena mamupayanti te. So I'm forgetting the second part, but that's so buddhi yogam is there. Machitta madgata prana. So that's here, and then chetasa sarka like there. Sannyasa yoga yuktatma. That's again 4.9. So there are a lot of words here that are very similar to 4.8 and 4.9 that are covered in 4.8 and 4.9. The words are kind of similar, the translation's kind of similar. In all activities, just depend upon me and work under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. So Machchitta Madgata Prana is think about me all the time and devote your lives to me. Those people who are intelligent, those who are devoted, this is what they do, they devote their lives to me. And dedicate your every activity to me, make me your supreme goal, take shelter of the yoga of the intellect, and keep your consciousness, Machchitta, absorbed in me always. So yeah, buddhi yogam, he's translated as a devotional service, and here's intellectually united with God, which is basically he said the same thing. So yeah, so the commentary here is when we are at a job, we don't really care so much. We don't care at all if the company is making $1 billion or $1 trillion or whatever, it doesn't matter. We go there, we do our work and we come back, right? We do the best we can and we do it under the direction of the superiors. Whatever they tell us to do, we do. And whatever the results are, it doesn't affect us. We don't care. So that is how we should be doing our work along with Krishna as well. A servant has no independence. He only acts on the order of the master, unaffected by profit and loss, simply discharges his duty faithfully. So now the question is, how, since Krishna is not there present directly, how do we act? How do we know what the right thing is? How do we know, not what the right thing, how do we know what Krishna wants us to do? So I've been contemplating on this, what do I do during the day? What does Krishna want me to do? So I just keep praying all the time, Krishna, please help me make good decisions. Please help me make decisions that you want me to do. Please help me make decisions to do things that you want me to do. Please help me understand. That's all I do. I just keep praying and then I just do whatever my instinct tells me. Would Krishna want me to do this? Would I keep asking myself, would Krishna want, what would Krishna want me to do? Would Krishna want me to do this or would Krishna want me to do that? So you just keep asking and keep praying, keep please guide me, and then eventually your intuition will work to guide you. And okay, so this is something that I learned recently, and this is about Paramatma versus Bhagwan. Now, the Bhagwan Tattva is a little bit more knower. We know it more because we've talked about it a lot, Krishna Bhagwan and his pastimes and his leelas and what he wants, and all of this whole Gita is about attaining Bhagwan in his Bhagwan form. And then the Brahman, impersonal Brahman also we have. So it's like the sun and the sunshine. So the Paramatma aspect is a little bit unknown. So how does the Paramatma fit in? What do we do? So there is this concept in Shvetashwar Upanishad, where they talk about the Atma and the Paramatma are like two birds sitting on a tree, and the Atma is looking away, Bahirmukhi, away from the Paramatma, and is doing its own thing, enjoying its own thing, desiring its own thing. And the Paramatma is just looking at the Atma and saying, turn to me. When will you turn to me? I want you to turn to me. I love you. I want you to turn to me. Please turn to me. And so when the Atma does turn towards Bhagwan, towards the Paramatma, then the Paramatma is happy. So then the question is, what are we doing all of this bhajan for? Because the Paramatma is already in our heart. So why are we saying we want God in our heart? We want God in the Bhagwan form in our heart. So all of this bhajan that we're doing is we're creating this throne, this golden throne. We're creating this altar in our heart. We're cleaning up our heart and purifying our heart so that Bhagwan Radha Krishna can come and sit in our heart, can come and live in our heart, reside in our heart, dance in our heart. Like we're creating this thing for Bhagwan. Paramatma is already there in the heart. So we're doing this for Bhagwan. So to the Bhagwan form, Radha Krishna, to come and live in our hearts. So then the question is, does the Paramatma, does our relationship with the Paramatma also change as we do our bhajan? And the answer was yes, it does, because the Paramatma then helps us to bring Bhagwan, the Radha Krishna, into our hearts. The Paramatma guides us through, I don't know, intuition, or through just giving us the inclination to do the things that will allow, which I think is intuition, which will allow Bhagwan to come and reside in our hearts. So the Paramatma then starts to guide us. The Paramatma then starts to give us guidance. So there is a verse where he talks about Paramatma. I mean, so the Paramatma is not just in our hearts. The Paramatma is in every atom of the material universe, and that is the form. One of the forms, I'm forgetting which one. So there are three forms of. So like Bhagwan Shri Krishna expands into something. I think into Balram, into something, and then into these three forms of Vishnu. And I'm not sure which one is which. It's Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Kshirodakshai Vishnu, Karnodakshai Vishnu. So one of them, which is in the material universe, the most material aspect, one is above the universe and creating the universe, and then I've learned this and I keep forgetting. It's so confusing to me. But the one that is in the material universe, the one that it comes into the material universe, that Vishnu is the Paramatma in our hearts and in every atom. So, so that Vishnu, that Paramatma is the one that helps us then to guides us to bring Bhagwan into our hearts. Okay, so, and there's a verse, I'm trying to remember which verse that is. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritirgyanam apohanam cha. So I'm residing in everyone's hearts, and I am giving smriti, memory, gyan, knowledge, and apohanam, forgetfulness to each. And then Vedaishcha sarve rahameva vedyo vedanta krid veda videva chaham. This is, I think, 1715. Yeah, so basically this, he's saying, I am the one who is the knowable from all the Vedas, and I'm the one who knows all the Vedas. I'm the knowable one of the Vedas. I'm the one, the goal of the Vedas, and I'm the one who wrote the Vedas and who knows the Vedas. So that's where he mentions about Paramatma in the Gita. Yes, so basically when he's saying here that we should do the will of the Lord, we should do the will of Krishna. And how do we do that? We just keep asking, we just keep praying, Krishna, please guide me, please tell me what you want, please tell me what your will is, and please guide me, please let me know, and please help me do the best, please give me the strength to do your will, please guide me about what your will is, and please give me the strength to do your will. And somebody had said as well, even if the guru gives you instructions, the guru may give a very difficult instruction, but he, along with the instruction, he gives the strength to carry out that instruction as well. So guru works like bhagwan in this sense that he gives the shishya the instruction, the guidance, as well as the strength to follow the instruction. Okay, so Buddhi Yoga here, Buddhi Yoga means having the intellect to unite with God in a devotional way, right? So now he explains this thing which I love a lot. There is a subtle, within our body is the subtle antakaran, and this antakaran, I've been hearing this word a lot and I didn't exactly know. So it colloquially refers to the heart, but it has 4 aspects. When it creates thoughts, we call it mana. Now, Hari Parshad Prabhu, I'm listening to his series called Updeshamrit. So there he talked about manas. So the first verse of Updeshamrit is Vacho Vegam, Manasa, Krodha Vegam. Manasa Vegam is one of the things that he discussed just in the recent lecture that I heard. So Manasa Vegam, mana is something that creates a sankalpa and a vikalp, which means, so he translates it very, he defines it very, very specifically, and that is, it's that aspect of the mind which, when he gives the example of YouTube, when we go to YouTube, there are many, many different things. That's vikalpa. We have many options. So the mind recognizes the many options, and then we take a sankalpa. We decide which one to click on. We choose one of them, and that is sankalpa. So vikalpa and sankalpa. So that's all it does. That's the function of the mind. Okay, and then buddhi, when it analyzes and decides, we call it buddhi or intellect. So now I'm not sure, because he says the sankalpa is part of the analysis of what to do, and that is part of the manas. So I'm not sure what buddhi means here when it analyzes and decides. According to Hari Parshad Prabhu, it is the manas. When it gets to attach to an object or a person, we call it chitta. Now, Sachinandan Maharaj, in his book The Living Name, he says the chitta is the subconscious. So again, I'm not sure what this attached to an object or a person means. It's different inputs from different people. I'm just laying it all out to you, and you can either research it or decide what you pick out of these. When it identifies with the attributes of the body and becomes proud, we call it ahankar or ego. So I really think that Hari Parshad Prabhu does an extremely intensely detailed job of really understanding what things are. So I tend to follow him. So if he says the manas is sankalpa and vikalpa, and sankalpa means analyzing and deciding, vikalpa means identify many options, and sankalpa means, so I will go with what Hari Parshad Prabhu says. So yeah, so we must cultivate the intellect and guide the mind to proper direction. That is what Buddhi Yoga means, to do everything for the pleasure of God. And so for such a person of resolute intellect, the chitta gets easily attached to God. And Sachinandan Maharaj, in his book The Living Name, he says that the chitta, the subconscious, has all kinds of things. So he talks about, in his second chapter, Sambandha, he's talking about how our mind, we are bound by Maya's illusions. Our mind is bound by Maya's illusions. So we have all of these things, all of these desires, all of these, he calls it the rust. I'm trying to remember the exact words, the rust of impressions and desires hardened over lifetimes. So we have so many impressions and desires. So we can't see them. He says we can't see them directly with our eyes, but we can see them when they come out as our nature, right? When we behave in certain ways, if somebody triggers us and we behave in certain ways, then it comes out. So we can then see that we have certain conditioning, and this is how we always respond with certain similar triggers. This is how we respond. So that is our mind being bound by Maya's illusions. And so can we overcome it? Is it possible? It's like, the elephant can be shackled with a small rope, even when it's big, because when it's small, it's tied with a small rope and it keeps trying to come out and it's not able to come out. So it just assumes that whenever the rope is there, it can't move. So even when it gets big, it's tied with that same small rope because it just doesn't try to get out, even though when it's big, it can get out very easily. So, but in our case, the mind cannot even, like, we cannot control, especially the subconscious, right, which brings out all of these thoughts. We cannot control the mind. Is it possible at all? No. The only way it is possible is for us to turn to Bhagwan Shri Krishna, and he calls him Chitta Hari. He can easily break those shackles of our subconscious mind, of the manas, of the binding of the Maya's illusions. He can easily break those things, bonds for us, and then we can come out of it. The only way, this is so strong, so powerful. The only way for us to get free is through Krishna's mercy. The only way. So we have to turn to him and beg him for his mercy to break us free from this Maya's illusions. And so now this is the thing that I really wanted to talk about. So let me do this. So yeah, so service. Now the thing that we keep wanting is to go back to Goloka Vrindavan, right? Or to get out, to break free from these Maya's illusions, so that we can get away from this painful earth and painful world and whatever, and we can go back to Goloka Vrindavan where we'll be free. Now, Hari Parshad Prabhu, again last year, he had this huge impact on me, and I've talked about it in my videos, in my previous videos as well, that he told us that the desire to go back to Goloka Vrindavan is very selfish. We're not loving God in that case. We're saying, I'll chant 16 rounds for you as long as you take me back to Goloka Vrindavan. It's such a transaction. So he said the only thing that we care for, we aspire for, is Krishna prem. So I've been thinking about that deeper and deeper as I'm observing people around me, and I'm getting to really connect with some amazing people. And that is, their entire lives are just centered around service. That's it. And there is an urgency in their life. I need to do this, and I need to do it right now, and I want to do it immediately. And there's such an urgency. But it's not an urgency for themselves. It's not an urgency that I want something, I want to enjoy, I want money because they'll have this urgency. I need to make money. But the money is not so that they can do something, like, they don't care at all. Nothing. The only thing they care about is how do I make money so that I can go out and create flyers so that I can have more people come in to the Friday night Sankirtan, so that I can feed more people and invite more people, or have a bigger space so that people can come live here, or something like that. Just everything, every single moment is spent on how do I help other people? How do I help other people come to Krishna, that too, right? So it is all so service oriented. And I've seen so many people, like some people at very high levels as well as people at just regular levels, also just spending their entire life just so eagerly thinking, okay, what can I do? Let's make this, let's rent this place, let's pretty it up this way, let's do this way. Why? So that we can invite people into the thing and do lectures and kirtan and help people and give prasadam and all of that at all levels. And I'm just like, wow, so the goal is service. The reason we are studying this right now is not so that we can enjoy be intellectually stimulated or whatever. Jnana karma navratam. It is so that we can serve the Harikatha, so that we can serve God. When we chant, we're doing it so that we can serve God, not so that we can get ecstasies, right? When we're doing anything that we're doing, we do it so that we can serve God. So then the prayer can be, Krishna, please help me understand how to do this activity in a manner that serves you rather than in a manner that makes me want to enjoy. Because I have these things I want to, like when I'm chanting or when I'm praying, I'm like, please reveal yourselves to me. I want to see you. And that feels also like, I don't know, that's probably a really good prayer. I'm not sure, but I'm like, now I'm changing everything until I understand what that means, because I think Gopiyas did want to see Krishna all the time. But I'm just changing it so that where I'm saying, please help me learn how to serve you. Please purify my heart. Please remove all of my anarthas so that I can learn how to serve you. so that I can serve you better when I'm chanting, so that I can chant offenselessly, so that I can actually serve you and please you in a much better way. So that when I'm listening to Hari Katha, I'm not doing it because I'm intellectually stimulated only. I'm doing it because I want to serve you. Please help me understand how I can listen to Hari Katha while serving you. Please help me understand how I can cook while serving you. Please help me understand, when I've come to this thing, like very clear thing. I'm not doing the 16 rounds every day of chanting, but whatever I'm doing, I'm very clear that that is the most important part of my life, of my day. That's it. Nothing else is as important. Everything else I'm doing, even if I'm doing it for God, even if I'm listening to a lecture, even if I'm singing kirtan or whatever, I'm doing it for God. But the most important thing I can do, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that the param upay to attain love of Godhead is chanting. So the most important thing is chanting. So if I'm sleeping so that I can chant better, so that I can just sit and focus and not be tired and not be exhausted, and I can chant better. So if I'm eating, I'm doing it so that my tummy is satisfied, so that I can chant better. Everything I'm doing is so that I can chant better. So having this kind of clarity in my head is helping me to make at least this one decision better, that I'm chanting better. So if we keep adding these if we keep adding these kinds of prayers to our daily routine, to our daily prayers, or to our daily contemplation, thinking, chintan, manan chintan, if we can do that, then we'll be able to do I believe that we will be able to connect with Krishna faster. I'm trying this. I don't know right now. I'm just starting to pray this. I've just started thinking about these things. But I believe that it will have a huge impact, because we're just turning to God, right? That's what this verse is also saying. Just turn to me. Do everything under my protection, under my guidance. Just turn to me. So yeah, I hope these were some helpful, practical ways to turn to God, to turn to Krishna, and to try to implement this verse. I wish you a day filled with lots of service to Krishna, Radha Krishna. I'm trying to understand deeper about how Radharani comes into our lives, how in a day-to-day practical way Radharani comes into our lives. As I figure things out, I will keep you posted. Um, I am really, really, really grateful. I'm feeling emotional right now. This project is about to end in a few days, and I am so, so grateful. I have come a huge, long way. I think if you listen to my earlier videos, the first few videos versus now, there'll be just a Zameen Asman ka difference, which like Zameen Asman means like sky and floor is a Hindi saying. But yeah, there is a huge, huge difference. And I'm so grateful that I have had this platform that has helped me to stay focused and keep going at this. I have missed days. Many times I miss days, but then I recover and I catch up. So I have overall, I'm not yet fully caught up because I missed a few days again. But I am on that path, and I'm very, very grateful. Very, 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 very grateful. And wish you everything. My entire heart is just wishing you everything possible, the deepest mercy possible for Bhagwan Shri Krishna to attain bhakti and to attain just pure, undiluted, real, genuine bliss and rasa. Hari Parshad Prabhu says we're always looking for rasa. We're always, all human beings, all souls, all living beings are looking for rasa. And Bhagwan Shri Krishna is Akhil Rasamrit Murti. He has all the rasas in him. So, and if we are not able to find rasa in bhakti, we will look for it in material world. We will fall down. Even after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, we will fall down because our soul is yearning for rasa. So I wish you that rasa from bhakti so that you don't fall down into the material world, so that you can keep making progress, spiritual progress that will give you joy beyond anything that you can ever dream of, or I can ever dream of. Wish you a very, very beautiful day. Radhe Radhe.